how did you meet your wife, Grace?
I met Grace. I saw Grace across the room at a party. I was down in Mexico City to DJ a festival, and I saw her across the room with her like big like shock of like red hair, and she looked so chic. She was wearing some like flowy like silk pajama suit or something. And I remember looking at her and then intentionally like in this very immature like schoolyard way like not looking, because I'm like, well, I'm not going to look because I'm not, this kind of thing. But then inventing this whole thing like, oh, I'm sure she's seen me looking and I'm really not going to look and whatever it is. And then when I met her properly, we had a brief hello that someone introduced us, shook hands, and 3 years later, when we finally had our first real date, I was like, yeah, remember that night in Mexico City? And she just looked at me so blank. She's like, I didn't know that you were in Mexico City that night. So like my whole thing I'd invented
Was a waste.
she was like, but I do remember, so we were introduced by my friend Leaky Lee, this singer who I made a lot of music with. She was playing Matchmaking. And I remember one of the first things that she said about Grace, that like she meant as the highest compliment, was like, she says Grace is just the best. She's not like all these other girls. She eats everything. That was like the first thing that was just meant like, she's like not fuss, whatever. We had our first date. Our whole courtship was food and dating and restaurants and all of it, and then I remember cooking for her like the second or third time that she came over.
Do you remember what you cooked?
Yes.
Okay, let's hear what you cooked the first time.
A salmon with a mustard glaze, because I'm just like, I'm so useless at improvising, like.
But that's good.
But I'm very good at following directions to a T. Yeah. So I'm not going to be able to make a souffle, but I could do a salmon glaze or something. So, and I remember being so terrified of, overcooking. I'd, keep taking the salmon out every 20 seconds to poke it. And then she's a great cook, but she's much more improv, like can just pull a few things, what from the cupboard. It's like, that's the difference between the two of us. She's just so free-flowing and like wonderful and just in that sort of way, and I'm quite a Virgo and uptight, so I'm not an incredible cook. But what I've found in our relationship, like I have 3 or 4 go-to dishes that Grace really loves, and like that's
what are they?
I do now. So there's like a chicken curry.
Did you learn to make that in England?
I actually learned to make it from a New York Times recipe, just like. And it takes so long to prepare the sauce, and because I'm making it from scratch, and the pureeing and the apples with the spices. But it's kind of like making a track. There's things, there's an order to it and a sequence that you have to follow, but it's so rewarding as well at the end.